Welcome to the Investment Summit. It's exciting times in Saskatchewan. Getting ready, living life.
Very excited to be here today. We have what, like 11 pitches?
11 pitches. We got 11 of the top 21 queued up, ready to go. Investors couldn't make up their mind. They're like, oh, we need a top 20. They're like, nah, it's top 21. All these companies are awesome. We're excited.
Good on them.
Brandon, do you want to just turn off the waiting room and let this happen?
Yep, waiting room's off. Everybody will start pouring in.
Oh.
All right. Well, it's 5:03. I don't want to hold this up anymore. Evelyn, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's send it. Welcome to the Valhalla Investment Summit in Saskatchewan, the inaugural investment summit, co-hosted by Valhalla and Startup TNT. I'm Tim from Startup TNT and Evelyn from Valhalla. What is Valhalla? What is it? What is that?
What is it? Yeah, for those, I guess, that don't know us or haven't heard of it, and they're here and they're wondering about this Valhalla Angels group. So Valhalla Angels is an angel network. We are pretty much all across Western Canada. We're looking for companies that are doing an investor-led business growth, right? To like scale their business and explode them basically. And then they've been operating since 2003. We have 6 chapters. We have Kelowna, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and now our most recent chapters, Regina and Saskatoon, that we just launched in September. We have about 150 investors, everybody great with great backgrounds, expertise, and obviously ready to invest in early stage companies. And yeah, so we've been around for a while. We've had about 269 deals and counting, and about 71 million invested into companies. And this is stats from probably September 2020. So we definitely are higher than that. So yeah, and Valhalla Angels is a company of Valhalla Private Capital. So that's the name that you see there. And we do way beyond just angel investing. We do training through our base camps. We do have some funds as well that we invest with. We do some M&A services for companies, and yeah, we take this all over the world, to be honest. But yeah, that's us.
Cool. Yeah, and the entrepreneurs came through they came through Basecamp for this summit here. So from what I've heard, great feedback. The investors came through Angel 101, also a Valhalla product. So awesome. We're ready to go. And now, what is TNT? We started off as a happy hour. Every Thursday, my co-founder said, I just want to hang out. I want to hang out with the startup community. It's a lonely journey. I want to hang out with the crew. So we started this happy hour on every Thursday. That's what TNT stands for, Thursday Night Tradition. And the objective is to have fun, make friends, and build companies. Because if you have fun with people, you'll become friends with them, and people want to do business with the folks that they're friends with. And by doing that, you can build some companies. And what we heard around these tables while we were slinging beers at Polar Park was, damn, it's really hard to raise money. Like, where do I talk to people? Like, these people that I talk to, they're like, oh, can I get like a 10 or a 12% return on this? It's like, no, that's not what this is. It's a lottery ticket. Like, it's more fun than that, but it's also a little bit different than that. You need to go and figure out how this works. And so and then you hear it on the investor side. They're like, oh, these startups, they write something down on a napkin. They think it's worth 10 million bucks. Both these sides need to be educated. So we started doing these investment summits. And in 2020, we raised just shy of $1.4 million for these 8 companies in Alberta. And now we brought this to Saskatchewan. And in memory of our first summit that we did in Alberta, we had this janky logo. And this was our first investment summit logo, and I decided to wear this T-shirt in memory of that as we launch our first summit in Saskatchewan. We're really excited because we want to do something like this in Saskatchewan in 2020. So get ready. This is going to be a bunch of fun. And our goal, of course, build lasting relationships within the startup community. We want everybody to feel like they're part of a community on a journey together, making Saskatchewan and Canada and the world a better place. And I mean, hell, making a bunch of cash along the way. So let's make it happen. Now, what is this investment summit? You probably signed up, you're like, oh, I got like free beer. This is pretty cool. This is a deal screening process for approximately 20 investors. 20 investors have tossed $5,000 into a holding company. And the companies that you're going to be seeing this evening are applying to receive that as equity funding in whatever structure that they choose. This is a deal screening process. This is not a business plan competition. This is not a pitch competition. This is an investment facilitation process. So just to the earlier point, in 2020, we ran 3 investment summits in Alberta. We had 109 startups apply. 70 investors came through the program. 8 angel syndicates for these 8 companies were created. And through that, just shy of $1.4 million was invested into those 8 companies, ranging from about $55,000 to about $550,000 per deal. Having a lot of fun along the way. And of course, building that community, because that's what we're all about. Now, what's the process, you ask? Step 1, a bunch of companies apply. And then the investors do a bit of a screening process, and we pick the top 21. It's supposed to be the top 20, but the investors are like, this is a bit tough. We'll do 21. This will be fun. So we have 11 companies pitching this evening, and that's where we are right now. From this, the investors are going to meet with the companies. They're going to do some 1-hour coffee meetings, kind of do a bit of diligence, a little bit of light diligence. We're going to get to a top 5. Those top 5, then we're going to do a bit more diligence. We're going to be looking at some documents, going at it a little bit more. And then there's going to be an investment summit, and that's on March 18th. That's the big day. Those 5 companies are going to be doing a bit of a longer pitch. They're going to be hunting for real money from real people, doing a real deal. Think of this as Dragon's Den, but without the, douchey Kevin having a time. It's a real fun event. So this week and next week, 6 p.m., same place, same time. 1 week later, we're going to be doing the other 10 companies pitching, same style of process. And then in March 18th, you're going to see a lot of development from the 5 companies that make it through. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to tune in. And of course, I think, Evelyn, you've lined up free beer for everybody again, right?
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't like to have some fun and watch some pitches and have a couple of drinks and meet new people? So yeah, if you registered in advance for our next one, I think some people didn't make it for this one, but yeah, just make sure you get your ticket in advance, and we'd actually deliver to your door. So if you live in Regina and Saskatoon, so sorry for those folks that don't live in Regina and Saskatoon, but yeah, it's all in there.
Love it. So yeah, it's on Eventbrite, so make sure you check it out. Next, pitch night format. What does today look like? It's 11 companies. Each company gets 3 minutes to pitch, and then 3 minutes of Q&A from the investors. Now, there's a chat function on Zoom. If you're not an investor and you want to ask questions, I'm happy to take those questions. If the investors don't have, they're out of commission, feel free, toss your questions in. I might be able to ask it. It'll be fun. Also, use the chat for encouragement. Everybody's here putting their neck out on the line. Give them some kudos. This is awesome. Show some excitement. Say hello to your friends. Type it out in the chat now. Just say hello to everybody. This is a bunch of fun. Let's build some community. Let's have a time. On the 3 minutes to pitch concept, I do have a timer up. I'm not going to do a hard stop at 3. I need you to make sure that you self-police that. If you start going over, it's really annoying. I'm going to grind away some of your Q&A time, and that's really where the value comes from. I will have to do a hard stop at around 3:30 or 4. It makes you look really bad. Please manage your time. And then join us on Discord for the after party. If you haven't used Discord, it looks like Slack, but you can talk on it. It's great. Not nearly as fun as being in person, but we got to do the best with what we've got. And enjoy the beer. If you signed up and you got a beer, this is awesome. I'm going to crack mine in a couple seconds here. And let's get it going.
Let's do it.
Here's the lineup. We got HYON Software going first, and LyteHorse Labs rounding it off at the end. Evelyn, you should have the lineup. It's in Slack. I'm going to be asking you for the order. Those are your skill testing questions. So the first one's you know what the answer is already, but this is how it's going to go. And Evelyn, can you give a bit of words as to what do I have going on here? Who are these people? What is this?
Well, basically, this is a huge shout out for our sponsors and our supporters, right? Like Innovation Saskatchewan. I know Carrie Harvey's in the house. There she is. Thanks, Carrie. Thank you so much for all your support. Innovation Saskatchewan and the government of Saskatchewan in general, they've been a huge driver for all this like startup growth that we've seen for the last, 5-6 years. And also a big shout out to Joe Gill in the house from McCurture. They're helping us with all the legal stuff and, dotting our I's and crossing our T's when it comes to putting this together, and looking forward to continue working with them. They also do a lot of work with other startups and other organizations like Colas and Cultivator and other business service providers. And also our partners at District, who actually helped us get this like super cool beers that you can't see because it's the same color as the background, but that we're going to be cracking in a bit here. So yeah, thank you to all of them for their support.
It's awesome. Yeah, it takes a village to build a community. So this is an awesome crew of folks that have been helping out. And if you want to see your logo here, it's not too late. We have a couple more summits. We have a few more times, a few more reach outs. You can have some exposure. Feel free to reach out to Evelyn. If you don't know how to contact her, on LinkedIn, and probably if you Google her, you'll be able to figure it out. Pretty unique name, so shouldn't be too hard.
Gets me in trouble sometimes.
So let's start doing this. Who's ready? We got a great lineup, and you don't want to listen to me. You're here to listen to some startups, talk about some cool shit that they're building. So let's go. Evelyn, who's up first?
First up is HYON Software with Christy Evan. So Christy, I'm going to invite you to share your screen with us.
While she's doing that, just so everybody knows, got to crack that. Make it happen.
Wait, hold on. I need mine. There we go.
All right. Like I said, please ask questions in the chat. You can DM them to me. You can just toss them in the chat. Give kudos. This is awesome. HYON's going first, sticking their neck out there with no choice of their own. And this is going to be great. So let's make it happen. HYON, your time starts right about now.
All right, Tim, can you see my screen?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. So before we start the clock, my name is Christy, and other than the founders on this call, I'm not sure I know anyone else in this network. So because I'm a stranger to most, I'm just going to tell you a story. Asking for money on this first date would actually make this really awkward. So this is a story about a company called HYON, and I just happen to play a lead role. It's hard to remember, but in-person events used to be a thing. And when they were, HYON was offering software to power massive consignment events. Think like the Calgary Ski Swap. So when we realized the market wasn't big enough for our event tech, we started getting curious about how we could provide value. Now, what we witnessed in events is that most of them offered a concierge service where you could literally drop your unwanted items and the event would price, market, and sell them. This service came at a premium, but people were willing to pay because they didn't want to do the work. Time to introduce you to the two main characters in HYON's story. There are only two types of people in this world. You're either someone who will do the work to sell your used items, or you ultimately can't be bothered. If you would do the work, we call you Allison. If you can't be bothered, your name is Jordan. The problem here is they don't know each other. And before I share the solution and ruin the story, let me tell you a little bit more about Jordan. We had always thought that Jordan was only one person. And in the fall of 2020, the company learned that Jordan can be government or business. HYON entered into a provincial pilot with the government here in Saskatchewan to witness exactly how their surplus assets were being disposed of. And these poor goods succumb to an auction system with minimal followers. And so auctions need an audience to create competition. Where there's no competition, items are literally selling for pennies on the dollar. And so HYON says, hey, we have sellers who want to sell, and you seem to have a lot of items, 100,000 items to be exact from just from last year. So the team sits back and we think, okay, do we really want to sell to government? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if government has this problem, so does big business. And so HYON starts to talk to facility managers and surplus asset teams to understand their pains. And here's where we're at. So HYON is about to connect enterprise items with power sellers. So the owner is a business or government who holds onto the items and is paired with a power seller to post on existing marketplaces. It gives them a shot to sell for fair market value. And if items don't sell for a desirable price within some kind of reasonable time frame, they go to auction the way they do now. Now, at a first glance, You might think that HYON is competing here, but we're not. You'll never find an item for sale on HYON. If it helps, you can think of the company as like a Shopify for used goods. It's worth mentioning that HYON could eventually become an interesting acquisition for these industry giants. Now, HYON initially thought that it would make money with a transactional marketplace model, but what's been uncovered is that HYON can employ the power sellers and then control the experience that it offers to the owners. In this way, HYON retains higher margins and can forecast its actual seller cost. All right, time to reveal who powers HYON. So I'm Christy, a 3-time founder and 1 non-tech exit. Our CTO and co-founder is Blair, who was on the ground level of both Vendasta and Skip the Dishes. To date, our company has raised just shy of $500,000 in non-dilutive funds. And that is HYON's story. We're scrappy, we get our market, and now we're ready to get a few dollars to get into market.
I love it. So you have an awesome, it sounds like you got an awesome, you figured out that the government has a whole bunch of stuff, they're inefficient. How much are you looking to charge them? And have you spoken to anybody to validate that, or how have you validated that?
Yeah, sorry, Tim, I'm just trying to find you again here. There we go. So we are actually in a pilot with the provincial government right now. So we're working with SAS Builds and Procurement and their surplus team.
Nice. And from a pricing point perspective, where did you come up with, I'm assuming that 30% is the number based on what you showed. How did you come up with that?
So that was a model that we launched in the consumer application. So our tech's been in the public market since August of this last year. And we're anticipating that we'll probably go to a true SaaS model for the sake of what we'll be offering in government. Business will probably have more of an appetite to stay on the consignment model.
Gotcha. Cool. And what are you raising? You're raising $1 million. What are you raising it for? Jerry's asking.
That's completely for our go-to-market strategy. So right now, one of the things the government is interested in is an actual transfer system. So before they sell items, they want to be transferring them between ministries. And so we're looking to build out that technology. There's about 9 other large enterprises that run very similar to Saskatchewan that we have attention for. And so we think that building out that transfer system, developing a sales force, the tech is built. So it's just go-to-market.
So what's the government do right now? Without your solution, what do they just like throw everything out, or what's their game plan?
Tim, you would cry. The first thing the government does, they could send an email out and ask if anyone wants the stuff that they have. If no one wants it, it actually is donated first for everything except for vehicles or items value, but 10,000 or less, it's actually donated. And so items that aren't donated will go to auction, and the eyeballs on auction are very minimal. So we're actually trying to change policy where items would first be transferred, then be sold, and then be donated.
That's amazing. And so why haven't they just hired somebody? So if you're operating on a SaaS model, I assume that you're running, if that's the game plan, you're going to be running at essentially the price of FTEs. Why aren't they just hiring their own people to make this happen?
That's a great question. I have no answer for that.
Government. And so the 30% on each unit, the question is, why not charge them a management fee? Or like, I guess, can you just walk a little bit more through how you came up with the commission structure or SaaS structure?
Yeah, so the commission structure was actually set by what we were witnessing in events. There was an appetite for some kind of split between 20 and 40%, depending on the value of the item. So 60% for the owner is actually the lowest that they would maintain or that they would retain. And as items increase in value, the commission splits start to decrease. So it's, and I mean, that's open. This is fairly a new strategy for us in enterprise and government, a new opportunity. And so pricing has yet to be totally finalized.
Cool. I love it. Great start. Good work, Christy. Evelyn, who's next?
Okay, so great job, Christy. That's great. And it's always nerve-wracking to be like the first one, hey? So good job. Kicking us off with great pitches. I love it. Next is Canadian Electronic Health Information Systems. So Heidi Watson, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We're good to go.
Hi. So I am going to start my time. 1 second. There we go. I'm Heidi Watson. I'm the owner and founder of the Canadian Electronic Health Information System. We just call it EHIS for short. Our product is Guardian EMR. EMR stands for Electronic Medical Records. So there is a lot of EMRs on the market already. Ours, though, is fundamentally different because of how we built it from the ground up. So the goal of our EMR was to be able to mimic the actual circle of care dynamic that happens in real life in healthcare while still meeting all of the legislation requirements. And we've actually finally reached that point where we've met the minimum requirements for this market and finished our MVP. We're actually prepping for our launch like in the next couple of weeks here of our last tier that we've been working towards. We have recently participated in the Women in Cloud Business Accelerator with Microsoft. They've been helping us to get enterprise ready. And so we're going to have some big shifts in how we charge for our product and how the whole thing works. So since 2017, when we launched the first version of the product, we haven't missed a year in our expansion. We've launched every single year to get to the minimum requirement to compete in an actual practice management software solution network. So what this really means for us is that we can really serve those enterprise clients now. We can have multi-facilities, multi-clinics on the system, and we can finally branch out into serving medical specialists like physicians and nurses. Up to date, we've only served allied health professionals, and they've been fantastic, and they've tested our product great and given us great feedback. So for example, in the last year with an incomplete product without billing, we still had a 40% user growth. And of the new users that we loaded this year, 75% of them are paying users. As you know, the market in healthcare is huge. And so with this next launch that we're going into, we are planning on launching our product not only to our local servers that we have now, but also to international servers. This is so that we can serve some underserved, less saturated markets, as well as pitting our product against some like traditional legacy products in some private health markets. And we want to really see how it performs. We're really at that finishing our MVP stage, just moving into product market fit. Our team has also grown incredibly this last year. We've added 9 team members, and we're up to a 5 full-time equivalency now. This is like totally exploded this year. And so we're always looking for new expertise and support. Really what we're looking for is to prove our product market fit here in 2021 and to get into some enterprise scaling. And so that's the support we're looking for. Thank you for having me.
Great work. This is exciting. I love it. So how those 75% of paying users, how much are you charging? What does that look like?
So because we have an incomplete product, like it wasn't everything that they're looking for, we've got a whole bunch of month-to-month subscriptions. So it really depends on when they joined us. We have some founding members who like have been clinging on since that first release.
Sure. Cool.
So it, about the average is like $50 a month right now.
Cool. The patient information, do you handle that? How does that tie in with, you know, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so at our core, we are a medical chart storage system. That's the heartbeat of the system. And we have it, it's very unique in that it's a cumulative system. Everybody's on it, but we manage each view of each provider at the different levels, as well as the view of each individual record. So it's kind of like magic. The records appear or disappear depending on access levels.
Gotcha. And so what do people do right now? So without EHIS, what happens?
There's still a ton of people on paper, and there's an alarming amount of hospitals still on paper. There is a lot of fantastic products that are out there. There's not as many in Canada as in some other markets, but there are some other EMRs, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. They operate differently. There's like workflows in some of them. Ours is workflow free. They're all kind of different.
Cool. And so Mark says, great presentation. Is the target government health or private? And how do you tie into the exploding telehealth?
So we've mostly been going for the private allied health market to date, and we will be expanding into more private enterprise. We want to get to government at some point here, and with the telehealth, we've done a lot of market research and found that EMRs that tried to build their own telehealth, usually it's terrible and the market hates it. And so we're actually doing a telehealth integration with a company out of Toronto. So we're trying to keep it Canadian.
Cool, love it. And does the user pay annually? And what happens if they drop out?
So it's a month-to-month subscription. We don't hold anybody into contracts because that's like really clingy. Of course, for larger enterprise deals, we are prepared for contracts. But for those month-to-month users, we just really want to keep them happy. And if they leave, it means we failed. And so, yeah, that's how we like to keep it.
And who owns the records?
I kind of forgot half that question.
The
clients own the records. So that's the thing with EMRs. Our users are the actual legal custodians of the records. That's one of the parts in the legislation.
Nice, awesome. Well, that's all we have for time. Great work. There's a question out in the chat from Jonathan that you might want to answer, but great work, Heidi. This is awesome.
Thank you for the questions. Thank you.
Anytime. Evelyn, who's next?
Good job, Heidi. Next, we have NULIFE GreenTech. And we have, if they're here, Jerry, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there you go.
We even have a screen. We even have a screen. Fabulous.
Let's go.
All right. So good day. I'm Jerry Christian and co-founder. So the renewable fuels market is on fire and producers have told us they're hungry for a more effective catalyst. Globally, renewable fuels are in high demand as a critical part of the fight against climate change. Producers can't make enough. And our catalyst allows producers to increase production and make more money with no capital investment. So catalysts are a key part of creating these finished fuels for both renewable and traditional refineries. All renewable fuel inputs contain high levels of oxygen, and it's important to note that NULIFE owns all of this IP. So we've demonstrated twice the performance versus the competition. So why is this important or of value? Because our catalyst works better, you need less of it to remove the oxygen, allowing more production under the same conditions. So we've demonstrated twice the performance, but let's be conservative and talk about the value of only using 5% less. So we make renewable fuel producers more money. With only 5% less, we can increase the average output by over 3.6 million gallons annually. This delivers 7.3 million in profit with no capital investment and over 33 tons of emission reduction. So this market is growing by 24% annually. And our SOM are the hydro deoxygenation catalysts used to create these renewable fuels. So this market is very risk adverse. Our strategy is going directly to the producers to set up pilot testing. We've spoken with almost everyone in North America in this field. They're unanimous in their need for a better oxygen reduction catalyst. We're in a collaboration with a key industry leader who's putting our catalyst in their hydro treater this summer for lifespan testing. This is a huge validation for us. So our competition sells their own versions of these catalysts, which we've significantly outperformed. So here's how we're going to beat them. So in Q1, we'll be generating revenue. And we're currently demonstrating our catalyst with industry conditions in a continuous flow simulation equipment. This gives us real world data for our catalyst performance report that we'll release this summer. And as I said, we'll be in a customer's hydro treater. And in 2022, we plan to begin multi-time demonstration trials. So with our financials, our selling price will increase as producers capitalize our catalyst benefits and the increased value from it. And these catalysts are replaced on average every 24 months. So it creates reoccurring customers and revenue. As for a team, we have a solid engineering and business development team of 8, led by myself and Brock. We've both started and successfully exited businesses. We have a Canada Research Chair as an advisor, a proven clean tech leader, and an industry engineering champion. We're looking for a CTO. So we're just starting a seed round for $1 million. We're expecting 750,000 in non-dilutive that we're supposed to hear on in Q1. We're seeking a lead investor, and this gives us an 18-month runway. So in quick summary, we've got a proven team. We'll increase profits with no CapEx, and we'll be in the customer's hydro treater this summer. Thank you.
Love it. Great work. Super succinct. This is great. So if you're familiar with like technology readiness level, where would you plunk yourself? Is this like ready to go, or what do you have left before it can be commercialized?
So we would be in that TRL 6, and by the end of the year, we're expecting a TRL 7.
Nice, awesome. And in terms of IP, how does this work for you? Do you have IP on it? Did you come out of the university and there's like an IP transfer agreement or anything? Can you walk me through the IP situation here a little bit?
Yeah, it's actually pretty clear. Our agreement with U of S is anything that we create, say with them, NULIFE owns clearly outright.
And what about stuff before? I'm assuming there was stuff that was spun out.
No, we created our own. The base of it that's been patented in Canada, we created and NULIFE owns 100%.
Gotcha, super cool. There's a question about an obligation to dispose of the catalyst. Is there like an environmental issue, or who owns that in 2 years when it needs to be replaced? How does that work?
So there's usually, it depends what's metals. If there's precious metals loaded into it, often they'll try to extract that out. Ours does not have precious metals. It's actually, the base of it is derived from landfill diverted waste. So it gets to the whole circular economy. As for who has the obligation of it, that goes with the catalyst. There's companies that deal with that. And that would be priced into, the disposal of it is priced into our model.
Cool. And with respect to the increased efficiency and the kind of the value prop around this, is what you're doing, are you reducing the amount of catalyst that's typically needed, or are you improving like the output and the efficiency? Like, can you walk me through a little bit more?
So if we imagine a hydrotreater, it's a closed unit, okay? There's only a certain amount of volume, but they put batches through often on an hourly basis. So by having a more efficient catalyst, we can put in less material to do the same amount of work, thereby opening up more room to add additional renewable feedstocks to go in.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're increasing the throughput capacity of the refinery without any extra capex.
Correct. And it may not sound like a lot, an extra ton or two per batch, but 24 hours a day, 365, it adds up.
Huge. And what does your exit kind of look like? What's the game plan there?
Well, we think we're going to be an attractive acquisition to one of the leading catalyst companies, because they haven't been focusing on this area, or one of the leading renewable fuel producers. One of them has a history of trying to always maintain that competitive advantage that we would be bringing. And that's how we actually so we came through the Cascadia Cleantech Accelerator last fall, and we did a massive amount of customer discovery. And that's how we got that engineering champion, because he clearly told us, I'm looking for a competitive advantage.
Super neat. I love it. Great work, Jerry. Super succinct. Jonathan came in at the 6-minute mark again with a question, so you can answer him in the chat if you'd like. Evelyn, who's next?
Jonathan's gonna have to start asking questions first, so these are always the last ones. Okay, next we have Thrivr, and with AJ. You want to share your screen?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. I'm just gonna try and figure out where my slide is at. Share. Can you guys see the screen now?
Oh, you're ready.
Awesome. All right. Good evening. My name is AJ, and I am one of the co-founders of Thrivr. Registered massage therapists, after graduating from massage school, get aggressive commission agreements with clinics and pay as much as 35 to 60% to build their clientele, which leads to RMTs becoming reliant on these clinics. Our solution, Thrivr. We help RMTs build their clientele at a fraction of a price, which ultimately reduces their reliance on clinics and gets rid of large commission agreements, giving them more control. We're not a scheduling software, but we integrate with 95% of scheduling softwares in real time, and then display these open slots on our marketplace. Our business model is simple. We charge 3% per transaction and an additional 2.9% plus 30 cents per credit card transactions. And our listing service is free. Our customers are any RMTs with openings in the schedule, whether it be last minute cancellations, or unfilled slots. If they have an opening, we want to fill it. We're a new age marketplace. What this means is we control the user experience from start to finish by controlling the quality and price. Our competition has had issues retaining RMTs to stay on their platform because RMTs like to control the environment they practice out of. They hate getting in traffic, and are carrying heavy tables only to serve 18% of the market. In the last 3 months, we've increased the revenue by 140% when you compare it to the last year. And we only started marketing in January. The team, myself, I have 11 years experience in IT. Levi has 7 years experience in sales. Regan has 5 years experience in strategy and finance. Our advisors include Jeff Van Zura, who has a plethora of experience in health tech and multiple exits. Jeff Bishop, who's the former Senior Vice President of Operations for Soothe Massage, which is the undisputed global leader in on-demand massage. Currently, we're in conversations with senior leadership from Blue Cross to utilize their network. We're in process of filing a patent search application. And just today, my IRAP agent just gave me a call to tell us that our project has been green-lit. So I couldn't update the slide, but it was a couple hours ago. We're seeking $100,000. We're seeking $100,000 for a valuation of $2 million. Most of the money will be used to educate RMTs about our product and marketing. Thank you for your time.
That was
Questions?
amazing. That was exactly 3 minutes. That was impressive.
I've been timing it for days.
This is great. Can you walk me through a little bit how the Thrivr platform works? Like if I'm a customer, do I roll on, I'm like, I want a massage at 3 p.m. and you just like pair me up with somebody, or do I look for a specific person, or how does that kind of mechanically work?
So from our research, we found that a lot of people don't want to just be paired with any random massage therapist. So we actually give you an option. The beauty of our platform is we sync with 95% of the scheduling softwares. No one else is doing that. And the way we're doing it is kind of secret right now. So that's why we're filing a patent search on it. And you get the time you pick. So you pick the massage therapist, you pick the time, and you pick the location.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Jonathan came in a little bit earlier this time. Traction-wise, how many users do you have so far between RMTs and customers?
Sure. So for RMTs, we only have 4 RMTs right now that are on the booking side. We're looking to onboard a couple more in the next few weeks right now. We also have 7 RMTs on our listing side as well. For customers, we have about 100 since we rebranded in November.
Nice. And geographically, where are you? Are you just in the one city, or?
We're just in Saskatoon for now. This is the pilot city. What the aim is to be Canada-wide.
Gotcha. And so with the, say, 100,000, is that just to capture Saskatoon, or?
No, it is to actually expand to different geographically dense markets and educate our RMTs over there. One of the things we've done is we've been in conversations with Soothes, not Jeff Bishop, but another Soothes ex-member who led Canada's expansion. And she's told us things that we already knew and what our product was based on. Soothes had 30 RMTs in Vancouver and Toronto combined, in Canada combined, I guess. And they're valued over $100 to $500 million. They were never able to crack the RMT market, but just in Saskatoon alone, we have 4 RMTs. We're not actively, aggressively pursuing to sign more RMTs right now because we're really fine-tuning the technology behind it as well. Cool. And we've done a good job so far, and that's why in January we started marketing back again.
Nice. And so what's the revenue been over the last, say, 60 days?
Last 60 days, 60 days, we've turned around $12,000 in sales.
And is that your 3% rake, or is that like GMV?
That's a full $12,000 in massage sales.
Gotcha. And you're doing, it was 3%, correct?
We're doing 3%, but we're also doing, I think I missed the sales slide by accident.
Oh, you did. There was like the COVID thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. What was the question again?
Is it GMV, or is it the 3% that you're doing in that 12?
No, it's the GMV.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Super cool. Great work. Love it. Looking forward to hearing more. Evelyn, who's next?
Yes. Next we have SkillShark with Neil Anderson. Well, that's quick.
There we go.
We can see, we can hear, we're ready to go.
All right. Let's get the show on the road. Hi, everybody. My name is Neil Anderson, founder of SkillShark Athlete Evaluations, where we make athlete evaluations easy. So my background as an engineer is I've spent the last 30 years in Saskatchewan optimizing industrial processes and combine that with my love of playing and coaching competitive softball. The majority of my life, that's where I saw the need for SkillShark. So, here we go. So picture taking your child out for tryouts for whatever sport it is, where pen and paper is being used to gather data. SkillShark solves the three biggest problems that you find with youth evaluations of any sport. First, we save the organizations on average at least 50 hours not having to do data entry into spreadsheets, manipulate it, run numbers, and that kind of thing. Second, from the athlete's perspective, they receive a report card for the first time in their little athletic careers stating not only what they did well, but what they need to work on. Rather than simply being told, hey, kid, you're on team 8 of 20, have a good season, we'll see you next year. And lastly, from the parents' perspective, who want their kids to succeed, they finally receive direction on these report cards, identifying what skills their child needs to work on to improve better for next year. So our solution to all these problems and others is SkillShark. SkillShark is a B2B SaaS model company which sells athlete license subscriptions on an annual basis. Future revenue streams are going to include selling data analytics back to national sport organizations. We're currently at 100K ARR, and we were tracking prior to COVID, we were tracking 500% year-over-year growth. And despite COVID, we still finished 2020 at 200% year-over-year. Our marketing focus is aimed towards education of the coaches and organizations in this $15 billion sports data analytics market, which is growing at 30% year-over-year. For us, this is really a blue ocean market. We have very few competitors in the space. Our primary competitor still remains pen and paper, which is used by 99% of the organizations out there. So it's just simply a matter of educating the marketplace. All of our major contracts, oddly enough, have been signed in the last 10 months during COVID, including pretty significant ones, including the French National Sports Council in Paris, who are using SkillShark to evaluate their upcoming Olympians for the 2024 Olympics in Paris. And another one is the largest sport organization in the world, the USSSA, who has approximately 4 million athletes covering 15 different sports. We also signed a $5 million contract over 5 years with the National Amateur Fall Baseball Federation, which starts this fall in 2021, where they're going to use SkillShark at the center of its entire business model. We have a development team of 7 here in our office in Saskatoon, and we just launched a $1 million seed round in November through convertible notes with very attractive terms mixed with non-dilutive funds, and we're already at 60% of that goal. We'd love to have you join our team and help us empower technology in youth sports. Thank you.
Love it. Great work. That was an awesome, awesome big logo slide. Somebody's asking, are there some other applications for your platform beyond sports? Or I guess how do you expand
that? That's a setup question. So we've already got a contract with the provincial government who are using us for employee evaluations and talent. We've been used not only for employee evaluations, we've been used for, you can really evaluate anything. You can evaluate pitch competitions. You could evaluate, we've been used for Filipino karaoke contests. You can really set up SkillShark to evaluate anything you want.
Love it. Super neat. Pricing. You saw that you're sitting at between $4 and $8 a month. Your nearest competition looked like they were at between 5 and 9. How are you feeling about that?
We're actually going through a price increase. We're going to be we've increased our price 4 times over the last 4 years, and we're going to be going through another price increase. So as we come out with more and more features and power and functionality and value to our base, we intend to keep increasing those margins.
That's awesome. And so against that one competitor there, how do you kind of stack against with regards to the features and that sort of stuff?
Really well. We just launched a feature this last week for mobile report cards. We stack up incredibly well, which is one of the main reasons why we're increasing the price.
That's awesome.
We'll increase an extra tier. So we'll not only, we'll have 4 tiers, both one is going to be lower and another one is going to be higher than what their range is currently.
Nice. And you have a LTV of 4,000. How does that kind of work if you're rocking like a $4 to $8 a month side of things? Yeah. What do you consider as your customer if your LTV is 4K?
So those rates of 468, those are actually annual subscription charge in US dollars. So not a monthly basis. Most of our customers do tryouts. A lot of them do tryouts, for the month of August, let's say, for their fall sport. So if we build everybody on a monthly basis, then we'd be losing out on a lot of revenue because they'd evaluate for a month and then cancel their subscription.
Cool. But how did you get 4,000 as your LTV? What do you define?
Based on the average number of athletes in a group that a organization has over 4 years.
I love it. Good work, Neil. Always love hearing the updates. Evelyn, who's next?
Okay, so next we actually have another sports related company, but before that, I just want to give a quick cheers. Again, this is not working, the color. Quick cheers to everybody here. Honestly, really happy to see you all. And this is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun. And honestly, I can't wait to hear the rest of the pitches. But I'm going to ask Corey from Athlete Era to join us.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me out. Happy to go number 2 here in the sport tech theme. I know we got a couple of us here in the province here, so looking forward to following up Neil here. Am I good to go?
Good to go.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Corey Eatington. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Athlete Era. So I want you all to imagine for a second, you volunteered to coach your child's youth sports team. Maybe you don't have any experience coaching that sport, or maybe you do. Where you're going to start is you're going to go to a clinic. You may or may not actually learn what you need to coach. So when you start the season, you're going to be left either searching around on YouTube, PDF documents, videos to actually try and figure out what you're doing with your kids on a weekly basis. Or what a lot of coaches do, you might just run some drills that you did in high school when you played that sport, but not really be sure if this is actually how you're supposed to be coaching kids or if it's current best practice based on research. So this is really causing a massive issue in youth sport. Basically how we train and develop coaches is quite ineffective. It's clunky, it's outdated, and because of that, it's estimated only 30% of coaches actually complete proper training annually before working with a kid's sports team. And why this is problematic is because a lack of training and education of coaches actually leads to more dropout, meaning fewer kids are playing sports, leagues and organizations make less money. Right now, and this was before COVID, there's actually 1.4 million fewer kids playing organized sports in the US compared to 8 years ago. So at Athlete Era, we've developed a platform specifically for sports organizations to improve how they train and support grassroots coaches. So there's a web portal that basically allows them to aggregate and centralize all their coaching resources and organize them around their coach training and development pathways. And then we package this up into a mobile app that's branded under the organization that then they offer out to their coaches that they can use to learn how to coach the sport on a weekly basis, customize content to meet their needs, and really develop and support all their players to the highest level possible. So traction to date, we've generated 150K in annual recurring revenue across 16 customers. This past year, we 10x'd our user growth, and this is basically all in the sport of American football. Flagship customer is USA Football, who's currently using our platform to develop 140,000 coaches a year across the United States. Business model, we charge the organizations a base fee to get started, and then there's an incremental fee increase based on the volume of teams utilizing the mobile app. So we believe this is quite a big market opportunity. The total market is around $371 million a year. Right now, we're laser focused on the youth sport market, which we believe is about $50 million a year. We got a team of 4 right now. My background is in kinesiology and exercise science. That's my timer. And we got a couple of talented developers and also a group of key advisors based both out of here in Saskatchewan as well as the Bay Area. So where we're at right now and upcoming milestones, we've opened a seed round, currently have 200,000 committed. It's being led by an angel syndicate out of the Bay Area. This year we'll be expanding into additional sports, looking to reach 750K in ARR by 2022, and then really be able to maximize our market penetration the following year. So thank you for watching the presentation. Happy to answer any questions. Learn more at athleteera.com or reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Cool, great work. How did you decide on football? How was that the first one for you?
Mostly because my background, like I played football at the university level. So, you know, I had a lot of connections in that market to really get our foot in the door and get things off the ground. And I mean, also with, I guess, some of the injury and concussion concerns around football, that was a market where there is an immediate major need for better coach training and education solutions.
Cool. And to the point about coaches, can you walk me through sort of like an ideal coach profile? Or was that for, like, are they a volunteer? Or are they, you know, Belichick? Like, who is that person?
Yeah, I mean, we initially started focused on the coaches that really are brand new to coaching and have minimal experience with the sport itself. So it was really about giving them highly detailed resources to walk them through it. And then this past year, we really started to open the door up to the more experienced coaches by allowing them to basically use that content as templates so they can all, you know, change their plans, edit their drills, add their own stuff, and make it a better solution for them to share their resources. But because it's all happening within our system, we're still able to track what they're doing and essentially gauge how they're coaching relative to best practice by the national governing bodies.
Cool. And these organizations typically don't have a whole pile of cash. So how do they, like, how can they pay you? How does this work? Do they pass it on to their users? What's the game plan?
Yeah, so we charge them a base fee, and then that's where we have that incremental cost increase built in. So usually what happens is it gets lumped into player registration fees, and then we usually recover that through the organization's like membership fee structure. So that allows us to kind of scale up and have a good cost recovery plan in place.
Cool. Sounds awesome. I like it. This is awesome. Great work, Corey. Evelyn, who's next?
Next, we have Canbaba. Is that how you say it, Lisa? Canbaba?
Yes.
Perfect. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. I'm so excited to present. So I'm Lisa. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Canbaba. We are building Canada's first and foremost wholesaling and dropshipping marketplace. Currently, you know, it takes me about a few seconds to source any product from Alibaba in China, and I can easily buy that product, message the vendors on there. But for me to get a Canadian product here in Canada, it takes 100 to 1,000 times longer. the processes are archaic and they need to be brought into the future. And that's what we're doing, is creating this marketplace for them to easily list their business information and their products. So people from in Canada and anywhere in the world can access them and source them and purchase them to sell in their brick and mortar store or on any other e-commerce platform. So our big vision for this is to help businesses in Canada grow, keeping more jobs, more money here, and increasing our overall GDP. So currently, well, in 2019, it was about 770 billion. That has gone down now in 2020, unfortunately. So we really want to springboard this back with our business. Our revenue streams are transaction fees, membership fees, and then we also offer additional services, and we will be using this model in other countries as well. So we have two female tech founders, Fiona O'Brien. She's our CMO. She's amazing. And coincidentally enough, Joseph Gill is also our lawyer. We have Nick Kochar as our West business advisor, a great tech team. We've been through Cultivator Start program, and we're currently in West's Founders Table. And we're going to be featured on Vendasta's Conquer Local podcast February 10th. So be sure to tune into that. We're looking for about 150,000 between angels and grants, and looking for about 20,000 user signups within the first year, and looking at about 1.2 in revenue. So currently we just launched our MVP at the beginning of January. We're doing beta testing right now, inviting our manufacturers, distributors, and farmers, handcrafters, all Canadian, to sign up to our site. And then we are going to just grow and scale that and expand. So thank you all. I really look forward to connecting with each and every one of you.
Awesome. Great work. This is exciting. Just so that I make sure that I understand what's going on, is this, we'll call it, Alibaba, but for Canadian manufacturers, for Canadian purchasers, or is this like for the Chinese goods to be able to get here more effectively?
Ideally, it's for Canadian manufacturers, distributors, farmers, handcrafters, growers, anyone who creates something and makes something in Canada. That being said, you can't get everything here, like mangosteen, tropical fruit, and certain types of materials. We will still be working with other countries, obviously, to create this platform, but the people who are the vendors have to be Canadian. They have to be paying tax and ideally employing Canadians.
Cool. And how does Alibaba work from a pricing perspective? I assume that that's what you've mirrored this off of, or?
Pretty close. Their fees are a lot higher. Their transaction rate's only 9%, so it's a little bit higher, but they do have greater yearly rates. So they go from, I believe it's like $1,000 up to $10,000 per year, depending on the product listings, the featured products, quite a lot of different things go into it.
Cool. And in terms of traction, how are you sitting so far? Have you got anybody on the platform and selling, or where are you at?
Yeah, so we just finished testing everything out, and we are getting, I think there's about 15 people signed up so far, and we're just onboarding their products right now. This is really new to Canadians, especially we're focusing mainly on Saskatchewan to start with. So everyone's like, I still use a fax machine, or I used to go to trade shows or just email people. So just kind of showing people that there's a more advanced, easy way to do this. There's a lot of education, but it's really fun.
That's awesome. And so you want to raise, we'll call it 100,000 or so. What would that be used for? What's the game plan with that?
Yeah, so I actually have here, this is kind of just a very basic overview of what we'll be using it for. We definitely want to leverage ourselves a lot more with bringing on staff and VAs, doing more heavy marketing, and partnering with associations like FHCP, it's Food and Consumer Goods. There's larger like agriculture associations, things like that, where we can really make a larger impact and spread the news kind of with this.
Cool. And so I guess from that point, is there a sector or a geography that you're looking at focusing on initially?
Yeah, like our early adopters are ideally people who already are doing some sort of e-commerce, ideally with a Shopify store, because those are very easy to integrate over. And, you know, if people are doing Amazon too, those are kind of the people that are like the low-hanging fruit that we want to go for. So it just really depends like where people are at, I guess. But.
Absolutely. Well, this is awesome. It'll be exciting to see how this grows.
Yeah, thank you.
Great work. Evelyn, what's up? What's on deck?
First of all, I have a question. Are people actually still using fax machines? Like, are they still a thing? Oh, there's a lot of nods in the room. That is crazy. Are they still manufacturing them? Like, okay. Anyways, next one we have ABAzyne with Jerome. Jerome, you're muted, I think. Sorry. There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Let me get the video. Okay, there we go. Is that okay? Everybody can see the slide and.
No, we can just see you.
Oh, I guess I have to share. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble get this pushing on the sharing. Darn it. I can't seem to get the slide diminished so I can get back to the original. How do I get back to the original?
You can probably hit escape.
That's what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Here's the sharing. How is that?
Yeah, it's the same as before. It's just us chatting.
No.
Have you got my voice or no? You know.
Yeah, we can see you, we can hear you, we just can't see your screen. You probably have to hit confirm or something like that when you try and share your screen.
Okay, how is that?
The same.
Do you have two monitors, Jerome?
No, I don't. I just have one. I'm not sure why it's not. I've done this in the past and it's not. Well, maybe I'm wasting time here. Maybe I should just talk to.
Some people in the chat are saying press Alt and Tab or S.
Alt and S.
Oh, that's a neat. I like that shortcut. That's great.
Okay, so.
Do we have it, Tim? Can we like share it for him? Maybe?
Yeah, Brandon, do we have it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to load it up in the background, and I was wondering who would get there first. And it might be me. Are you comfortable if I share your slides for you, Jerome?
So yeah, you're gonna find out. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. I've used Zoom many times and shared without any problem. I'm not.
Well, it's all good. Brandon's coming in clutch. All right, Jerome, you get to talk to slides that Brandon is holding. So just tell him to go to the next slide.
I'll just say next slide. Okay, so ABAzyne Bioscience is a company that was started 4 years ago. My name is Jerome Konechny, and the co-founder is Dr. Sue Abrams. We were colleagues at the National Research Council, and we have started this company up in 2017. She's currently a adjunct professor at the University of Saskatchewan. So part of our whole technology platform is an effort to respond to climate change and the changing climate and the challenges that is creating for producers. And producers of wheat, canola, flax, soybeans, but also producers of fruit, grape wines, apples, cherries, fruits, forest, reforestation. So basically, our product, our technology platform is based on analogs of a natural hormone that occurs in all plants. And this hormone is called abscisic acid, and it regulates the plant's response to environmental stresses. So there's all kinds of stresses. And we have patent protection on it. We have 2 products. One product we call HYPER-ABA, and its purpose is to extend the positive benefits and effects of the natural ABA. And the other product is called ABA antagonist, and it blocks the undesired effects of this plant hormone. And give you an example. So the first one, HYPER-ABA, its application is in winter freezing tolerance in wine grapes and other fruits such as apples and peaches and so on. And it improves the cold hardiness. The tests we've done with the Ontario grape grower shows 6 degrees improvement in cold hardiness. And a lot of the vines are damaged over the winter because of the cold weather. And that really either kills the vines or reduces their productivity. The other thing that this does is it delays bud break. So the improving weather, the warmer winters, is actually creating more problems than it is. And in fact, there's a greater risk of spring frost than there was before the winter started to warm up, because the vines start to grow too soon. And then they still get caught with a late spring frost. So there's been stories of all over in the newspapers over the last 10, 15 years. In 2017, the Bordeaux region of France lost something like 80% of their wine grape crops. In Canada in 2014, we had about an 80% loss of our grapes. And this issue is also includes areas such as California and southeastern United States that also produce grapes and other fruits like that. So we've done 5 years of field trials and studies, and we're now ready to move these products into the regulatory approval process. So the other product is the antagonist, and this does the opposite. So what it does is it blocks the effect of this plant hormone, and it encourages growth. So we've tested it in crops that have hard time germinating, or if you want them to germinate sooner. So for example, crops like soybean and corn don't grow very well, or either don't germinate well in the cool springs that we have. So we could get an extended growing season by encouraging germination 5 to 6 days sooner. And that's a big deal in the Canadian crop growing year. So the potential for this is the applications are endless. We're going to start with the applications that we have and get them approved through the regulatory approval process, and then continue to do applications that range from anywhere from reforestation. We're talking to people at NATE who are doing research regarding reclamation of the oil sands. People who work in Ontario in the nursery business and are looking at trees that have issues with transplant, and they lose a lot of the plants when they transplant them. So there's an incredible variety of application, and the market is almost endless, but we're starting with the work that we have the most field data, get it approved, and start generating revenue with those markets. And they're quite huge. We look at this could be a potential $2 billion market.
Awesome. Great work, Jerome. Can you give me a sense about the pricing here? Or actually, how long until you're in the market and selling, or are you already selling?
No, we're not selling. They have to be approved, go through the regulatory approval process, a regulatory body in Canada called PMRA. We have we hired a consultant who is the former CEO of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to do an evaluation. So we think that we're very close to beginning the process. And now what we need to do is and this is where some of the money we would use, is to get a regulatory expert to negotiate with the regulatory bodies, and starting in Canada and the United States, and looking at a joint application and negotiating the terms and conditions in terms of what studies we need. There's a natural product that exists similar to ours, which makes it a little easier. And our price would be competitive with this. The beauty of our product is it's 10 times more potent and it lasts longer. So it actually does things that the natural product can't do. Like the product that exists now, we tried it, we tested our product against it with grapes and it didn't have any effect on the cold tolerance and the bud break delay.
Gotcha. Super neat. Great work, Jerome. I've done some work with IntelliGrow in the past, similar concepts. This is awesome. Great work. Evelyn, what's on deck? What's next?
Tim. Next we have Meatocracy. Lyndon, are you here?
I am here. So I'm going to try to do a screen share, and so hopefully this works here. So who can share? Do I go as a host or just all participants here?
You're a host, so you should be able to screen share.
Yeah. So I'm going to go there.
Good to go.
And there we go. So hopefully everyone can see. My name is Lyndon Wasitsa. I am the founder, along with my wife, of a company called Meatocracy. Our goal is to shorten the meat supply chain throughout North America and the world. And basically, it's a better way. What we feel is to sell meat. Myself, I'm the founder and CEO, along with my wife, who's the co-founder and president of the company. I have I guess a degree in agricultural economics from the University of Saskatchewan. I have previously founded a company called Rentera, which was Saskatchewan's first online, or I guess North America's first online farmland rental auction, still in operation today. And I previously worked with the Ministry of Agriculture as a policy analyst, and just more recently with a company called Canterra Capital, where we managed about 175,000 acres of farmland throughout Western Canada. So I guess to break it down, the industry, there is a rise in demand that we view for the demand for local food. And that was sort of the catalyst for the development of Meatocracy. COVID has further, I guess, facilitated this. There's been a larger rise. You may have noticed when COVID initially hit that there was a shortage of meat in grocery stores. There was rising prices for meat in grocery stores. And farmers, it was exact opposite experience. At the farm gate level, the prices dropped dramatically. There was farmers who couldn't sell their product to the packers because the packers had shut down. So you saw this really big gap between what the prices were in the grocery store and what farmers were getting at the farm gate. So, you know, as a farmer myself, we decided that, you know, given that we have a demand for local meat, as well as the COVID situation, we launched Meatocracy as an alternative way for farmers, ranchers to get their meat and sell their meat to people. So we saw a big problem. Number one is that primarily urban consumers don't have a connection to the farm. If you wanted to buy meat locally from your local producer, if you're concerned about where your meat comes from, you don't really have a connection. So we set out to find a way to bridge that gap, to bring the urban-rural divide together, to allow urban consumers to go out and find a way to meet their local producers. We've also developed a business-to-business component so that these businesses can go out and find local producers. And again, on the seller side, for our ranchers, a lot of them don't have the technical expertise to go out and find these urban consumers or these businesses who would like to purchase local meat. So we've developed the Meatocracy app as well as web store component. They both sync together. Every seller who joins our site gets a store on the Meatocracy app, as well as their own personalized website to connect them with consumers. The way it works is a farmer signs up, determines their market radius, determines their products, they determine the price of their products, and from there they can determine if they wanted to give delivery or pickup of those products. Then the consumer can go through a normal online shopping experience, whether through the app or the web store, in order to buy meat. And then here's what differentiates us, is that the farmer is the one who's going to deliver it directly to their door. So that gives us the ability to this relatively quickly, because we don't need cold storage. We don't need a centralized location to actually get product in, store it until we have a sale and then ship it out to the masses. All this food is coming primarily within a 50-mile radius of the farm that it's produced at. So you can go on, you can connect with those local farmers and buy product directly from them. Our business model is such that we have, 112 sellers currently. We're currently in the Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Texas, Arizona, and California markets that we've expanded. We've only started 6 months ago, so we've expanded rather rapidly, not having the logistic requirements and the actual brick and mortar requirements of a cold storage allows us to expand really quickly. We make commissions on 7% of each sale, separated at the point where the point of sale. So immediately after a sale, the producer receives 93%. We receive our 7%. We've received a lot of media coverage over the last 3-4 months as we scale our business, and we're just really excited to move into our new U.S. markets and continue to grow. So I guess with that, I'll say thank you, and I'll stop sharing here and answer any questions you may have.
Awesome. So Lyndon, what do you need in order to grow? What's next on the docket?
Time and money. That's the two things that we are lacking in general. So we're looking to grow this primarily as a way to expand. We need to scale this quickly, and we have to date. Like I said, we started in Saskatchewan 6 months ago. And since then, our first seller signed on in Saskatchewan. We've grown to over 112 sellers throughout North America. Primarily, they're located in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario, servicing the Toronto market. But now, more recently, we've added people in the Texas market, serving Houston, as well as Arizona, serving Tucson and Phoenix. And now we're going to be in the California market, servicing that area through Fresno all the way to San Francisco. So, primarily what we need is money to expand and develop our platform, which I would say we have a really good platform, but we still need additional features that we need to grow this into those new markets. We're selling meat, but we're also selling the story of the producers themselves. So when you buy a product, you want to know who your producer is. You want to know their story, whether a long generation rancher, whether they're using, particular breeds, whatnot. So we're just in the process and just completed that functionality on our site. So now we can actually showcase both the producer as well as the food products that they produce. So, again, we're looking for $100,000 to a 10% stake in our company. That will allow us to do the additional development that we need, as well as get the marketing in place so that when we go into new market segments, and primarily we are going to be targeting largely populous, densely populated regions, urban consumers who don't have connections to the farm. So that's our primary focus, getting those people on board and then moving in and just pushing it through marketing channels. So that's where we're at.
Awesome. Great work, Lyndon. That's 6 minutes. Evelyn, what do we have next? Is this number 10 that we have coming up right now?
Yep, this is second to last. But yeah, Lyndon, you have a couple of questions on the chat if you want to go ahead and answer those. And I guess, Tim, I just wanted to say hi to people because we have a lot of people in the room here, but I know this is also being streamed on YouTube, and we actually do have 25 more people there. So hi to those on YouTube.
Hello,
yeah. Okay, so next we have Super GeoAI Technologies. If you can share your screen.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Oh yeah, ready to go.
Awesome. Just one moment. Okay. I'm Dr. Weiping Zheng, CEO of Super GeoAI. Just one minute. We are developing a GeoAI platform for automated time-consuming manual tasks associated with wheat production. Many activities in agriculture, such as disease identification and quantification, still rely on time-consuming manual tasks. Those tasks has up to 40% errors due to subjective assessment. We are developing a GeoAI platform that can automate many time-consuming manual tasks. Here is an example. Losses in Canada due to FHB disease have ranged up from 50 to 300 million a year. In US, it costs about 10 billion a year. FHB is like a COVID-19 pandemic. It is important to detect and control the disease as soon as possible. However, the current manual solution is often too late to detect and control the disease. With our platform, we can detect and spread the size before it can spread. How does it work? We use satellite drones and other field data to monitor the crop field if our platform detects a high-risk spot, we send our drones to take high-resolution images. Our platform can analyze the data to tell when and where to spread the fungicide. We have already developed a mobile applications that can count and enable the number of weed head and weed seeds in a photo within 3 seconds, with an accuracy of almost 100%. How that works? Please try our mobile applications. Our platform can automate manual tasks. It can save time and cost. It can increase accuracy. Users can see the counting result and fix any mistakes to achieve 100% accuracy. Our business model is a basic plan for small farms, researchers, premium for large farms, breeders, and city growers, enterprise for insurance company, licensed green buyers, and government. Our TM is about 2 billion, and as of 3 million in the first 2 years and 15 million in 4 years. Our management team has a strong background in computer science, spatial AI, big data, agriculture, and financial management. We have several partners to work with us to developing these products and 10 committed customers such as AFC and Peterson Green to test and buy our product. We have received around 200,000 government funding. We are looking for 100,000 investment for 6 months to launch the first version of our products in this year. Support our shortlist 1 million AGF full proposal. Support our shortlist 1.6 million CAM proposal. And thanks. Any questions?
Love it. Great work. You guys are doing some interesting stuff. Can you tell me how the seed counting and sort of like the drone imagery around the blight, how do those tie together? How does this work?
Okay.
Is it the same customer that would need both of those, or how does this work?
The customers will be a little bit different. Maybe go to so for the weed detection, we may be more focused on the farms and also large farms. And for the city county number is for the licensed green buyers more for. So when the people to sell the seeds, we can give them show them what's the grading of the qualities.
Gotcha. Super cool. And so for the counting, do people do it right now? You drop it and you have to like count how many there are in a rectangle or whatever, and you're saying that this can be done just as by taking a picture instead?
Yeah, now we can do is just put a piece of paper and take a photo, and then they can do for city counting just 1 second, they can finish them. And the traditional right now people doing is use machine like the 700 machine to count it, or use the manually to count.
What a world. This is awesome. And so with respect to the blight, which is I think your next slide, does it work for other types of diseases as well, or is it just the one?
Yes, good question. Maybe we have the question here. Yeah, so our solution can easily expand to other crops. However, our competition strategy, we wanted to focus on the weed for the first 3 years. Accuracy is the most important for all AI applications. Most digital agriculture companies, they usually focus on many crops without a local data set, and the accuracy is limited. We focus on only one of crops and focus on one disease, one by one. We can achieve the highest accuracy and attract the customers.
Gotcha. And so you listed on that one page that you had a whole bunch of customers, but you're delivering your first product in 2021. So do you have like LOIs or something with those customers? They're committed. What does that look like?
Right now we have like the April one, we have something city county one. This one we maybe we have farmers that committed to like this farm and the other farm and Peterson one. They committed about $100,000 to help us developing the project as well. So they're kind of partners and also customers like this one as well.
That's great work. That's the best type of customers, having them invested in you. So this is great. Great work. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes for you.
Thank you.
Evelyn, who's next?
Thanks. Good job, Wei Bing. Who do we have next? We have the last company, but before we introduce them, and before I lose people, because I know I will, I just want to give a big thank you again to our supporters and our partners. Obviously, Startup TNT team has done amazing tonight, facilitating all the questions. And thank you to all of you for your very insightful questions that we had all night. And so our supporters, obviously Innovation Saskatchewan and Government of Saskatchewan, huge shout out to them and McCurcher, as well as our district brewing partners. So with that, I'm gonna introduce the last company, which is LyteHorse.
And don't leave after he's done. I'm gonna tell you what we're doing next. So
yes, yes.
Alan, welcome to the stage. This looks industrial. As an Albertan, that makes me like it. But we can't hear you, just in case you're talking already.
Oh, I'm muted, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you for that. And those are some tough acts to follow. My name is Alan Bonk. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LyteHorse Labs. And we are a very cool and unique electric vehicle company.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Great.
You're back.
Okay. So some of the problems out there with the current vehicles in the sort of ATV quad world are that those vehicles especially, and utility vehicles that are associated with them, like the John Deere Gators and even golf carts, they're notoriously emitting high levels of CO2. There's also hasn't been a whole lot of existing vehicles that have really done any major innovations. There's just nothing really exciting going on in the space of both electric vehicles in our particular space and in the fossil fuel vehicle space. So enter the solution, the LyteHorse electric vehicle, and it is the most advanced vertical rider electric performance vehicle on the planet. There's a lot of really amazing features and benefits of the machine: zero noise, zero emissions, as you would expect from an electric vehicle. Goes anywhere, two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The form factor, as you can see, is unique and innovative. There's really nothing out there like it. Multiple applications for the machine. I'll get into that in a little bit. There's very few moving parts, actually less moving parts on our machine than there are on a bicycle. It'll do 78 kilometers top speed and incredibly stable. It feels amazing when you're on it. And the ride hire approach. So for things like law enforcement, it's actually a big deal because it takes a 6-foot police officer and turns them into just shy of 8 feet tall when standing on this machine. So in the areas of protests and rallies and riots that are going on all over the place, it's a big advancement. Some of our early traction so far, we've got testing requests from LAPD, FEMA, San Antonio Airport Authority. We sold just at the close of 2020, 12 machines, and we've got strategic partnership now in place with US-based Patriaps, which has deep roots into the US military. We have an agreement now in place with Mako International, which is our stateside production supply partner. So we're very excited about that. That gives us massive leverage. And we're entering into discussions with a major US retailer. Some of our competitors are, they're varied. You probably heard of a Segway before, Easy Raider you may not have heard of. Price point wise, we fall somewhere kind of in the middle of those. Where do we sit? So our product, again, has multiple applications in all of these kinds of venues. What is my time by the way?
3:20.
Oh, I'm over. I'm sorry.
That's right.
So I'll go fast here. So we put together an amazing support team. We've got 10 advisors who are experts in all of the various disciplines that we need them in. And we're looking to raise $2 million in our next round. We've raised just over $1 million in our first round. Thank you.
This is awesome. I'm excited to see Paul Blart, military mall cop, riding one of these. This will be great.
Right on.
So the go-to-market strategy and kind of track. Actually, how about this? How far is this in terms of development? Is this ready to go? You just trying to hunt for sales now, or where are you at?
Yeah, so we're going to be in production by the early part of April at the latest. So that's where we're at with that. We're actually starting our marketing at the end of February.
Awesome. And in terms of terrain limitations, what does that kind of look like for you?
Well, we've done a lot of work on the machine itself. It's actually going to be waterproof to about 2.5 feet. So that means the battery and the electric motors will be completely waterproof. So you'll be able to traverse a creek or a stream or, puddles in the road without any concerns. It is all-wheel drive, so it will climb hills and go most places that a quad will, but it's not designed for, mud bogging and that sort of thing.
Super neat. And what do pre-sales look like? Do you have any?
We just, those 10 that I mentioned in the deck, I probably glazed over those. We have a lot of interest, but we haven't purposely taken pre-orders just because we haven't really known until just recently what our delivery schedule was like.
Awesome. And where are you planning on doing production?
So both here in Regina. So it's going to be a great Saskatchewan success story, and also stateside in Detroit. We have that Mako company that I spoke about. They'll be doing our stateside deliveries into the US and build them down there.
That's awesome. Mark's wondering, where's the cup holder on this thing? Do you have an attachment for that? How does this work?
Yes, we do have a cup holder. Yeah, it's not shown in the picture, but we do. Yeah.
This is awesome. What do you need in order to go faster, higher, farther? What do you need? What are you looking for?
Capital, really. We need capital for component inventory, for our as-build on-demand products. We don't want to inventory machines, but we need to inventory components to build them. And then we need money for marketing to really explode on the scene.
Well, you come to the right place. Great work, Alan. Looking forward to seeing you and everybody else through and hearing what the investors have to say after they meet you over the next week and change here. I'm excited. Great work. Great pitches. Great questions. Thanks to the crew in the chat for keeping it positive, keeping it fun and fresh. I love it. And now the next step, let's keep that fun, fresh, awesome energy. Now let's carry it over to Discord. We're going to have our happy hour. You're going to be able to hang out with each other, hang out with the folks from Alberta. We're doing a clean tech summit at the same time. Same thing, just instead of me, it's my co-founder running that one. And everybody's hanging out on Discord, having a time, slinging some beers or water, whatever everybody's up to. And living life. Brandon, can you toss the link into Discord in the chat here so that everybody has it? It's a super easy platform. Oh, Brandon's on it. Yeah, Lyndon, can you toss some steaks? Brad's looking for some steaks. It's 7:35. It's time for some dinner. Welcome to Happy Hour. This is great. Take a step back, relax. Presenters, startups, you guys crushed it. This is awesome. Sit back, relax. Meet some folks. Yeah, exactly, Evelyn. Congrats, everybody. Welcome to the happy hour. And looking forward to next week already. This is going to be great. If this week is any indication, next week is going to be just awesome. Make sure to tell your friends, your family, your investors, people you're vaguely interested in, whatever. They should come out. This is a lot of fun. Any sort of connections, if anybody has any recommendations on people that these startups should be talking to, please reach out to them. Of course, I'm speaking for them, but I'm pretty sure that they won't be upset if you add some value to their life. That's what this is all about. Reach out, have a time. Everybody sounds like they're sounding off in the comments here, so this is great. Well done. I'll shut my gab and we can get over to Discord. Brandon, can you toss that link in there again, just so that it's not buried? And we'll see you guys soon. This is a bunch of fun. See you guys next week. Make sure you sign up for your free beer.